That's a good score, but I know we can do better than that. We may be on the leaderboard, but I know that we can improve it by over 10,000 points. Hello, creatures, and welcome back to Snake Farm. I have done it. We took one of the hardest categories in the entire game and created a run that got me pretty far up the leaderboard, even at one point in the top 10. I know at this point, it took me a while to get this recorded, so I imagine a lot of you have already come in and knocked down my score. Just like how we have a couple of hard runs coming in trying to make this one work out perfectly. You're going to notice that we are coming into day 9 already at this point, just buying a whole bunch of loot snakes. And that because I had a couple satisfying runs before getting into the perfect run for certain. I mean, just look at this. We absolutely loaded up the whole map with nothing but loot snakes. And that is something that is super crucial to this run. But I'll explain that after this final day here, because we get to load up with all of the big earthworms. Something that I want to make note of in this final day, I do it the exact correct thing that I'm supposed to do here. I ride the earthworms, but that rogue meteor hits me and activates my ethereal socks or whatever it is that makes you phase through snakes. And that's what actually ends up killing me. My defensive item is what gets me killed here. And here we are hopping into basically the most perfect run that I've ever gotten on trial. It's a current unbeatable score that I have that gets me all the way up into top tier 10. You'll see at the end of the run. Make sure to stick around until that point to kind of learn all of the secrets to beating literal thousands of players in this game right now. So to explain what's happening here, I skipped a couple of days. We went straight into I think it's like day 3 or something. We just bought a bunch of low-level snakes. What you want to do is essentially buy all the snakes that you can. You buy the three oils, and then buy like one oil, and then that kind of maxes out your potential for teeth. What we're really looking for is teeth generation, because every day that you don't max out your trowel is a day that you're spending not being capable of taking out loot snakes. And the reason that we need to be able to take out loot snakes is because they are the cheapest 30 oil snake that we can get. Now, I haven't quite really figured out the math just yet if we can get a bunch of garden snakes and outweigh it. And the reason garden snakes are important is because garden snakes give you 40 oil, but they cost a lot. So I don't know the exact cost benefit, whatever analysis for that. But what you want to do is kind of perfectly spend all of your oil to get all of the snakes that you can for the most amount of oil per snake. Now this is doing, it was day 4. Great. This is doing really great because we're now on track to purchase all of the trial upgrades. Now, this loot snake without the full upgrades is a complete trap. Do not buy it yet. If you're buying snakes that you can't beat, then it's wasted oil. You could consider banking some of the snakes a little bit, but what I'm going to do here probably is buy a couple of fire snakes. Fire snakes are super annoying because they put a bunch of meteors all around. Oop, the curtain is becoming undone. Fire snakes are super annoying because they drop a ton of meteors all around the entire map, but they're super cheap and give a decent early set of income. Now, unfortunately, the critical eye I don't think is worth it on the trial because of the piercing. You only get one tick of the critical and it eats up a whole bunch of your teeth. What we're looking for is banking a lot of teeth, getting to max strength, and just kind of holding on to that. Now, it's super, super important to have some decent speed if you're picking up a bunch of tiger snakes. The tiger snakes, just a little bit too fast for the trial sometimes without any extra speed. So what we're also going to be picking up is going to be, I believe it's chilling water. So that's going to make every water and knockback do a chilling effect. So we're going to pick that up, and I believe we also pick up snake repellent. So that way we can have a piercing slow, because it's going to be super important in the very late game to be able to slow down those big giant earthworms, because otherwise you can't move around. You just cannot outrun these guys. I've tried getting like maximum boots and it just doesn't work. But because we have trial, super easy to clear out all of these snakes early game and just kind of... Oh, right. I'm moving up towards the fire snakes here to try and get a little bit of extra oil, because if I take out the corral snake all the way down there, then it's not exactly worth the time investment. These literally give 8 oil, whereas, ooh, I must have knocked out the corral snake without actually paying attention to it. These give 10 oil, so literally more than double what the corral snake gives you. And you gotta get up here a little early because they have a decent bit of health, And because you're piercing, you're going straight through the snake, and it actually does slightly more damage than I would have thought it would. But yeah, the fire snakes, a lot of risk for reward. Very cheap snake to buy, but very, very dangerous on the map. As you can see, that's what ended my last run. Oh, we're going to be cutting it very close with this one. You see, the day ends exactly at 6 p.m. So if you are not able to collect all of your oil, oh, please move. Oh, we're short just a handful of oil. We could have collected slightly more if I'd realized there was one out there. But we're way ahead of the game now. We picked up 20 snake teeth, so we can actually buy a few extras. That's a really tricky part with this route to getting the high score. You can only get one upgrade to your trowel per run. Something else that you need to be very aware of is you have a maximum of 20 snakes. What I'm doing here is counting to see if I have those 20 snakes, because if I do, it's not entirely worth it to buy a tiger snake. But if I did, since I don't, I'm buying more tiger snakes because I think they're worth 8. If they weren't, or it's again, you have to kind of like balance buying and then getting the return for it. But that's kind of what it came down to. You need to max out at 20 snakes. So once you hit that 20 mark, you don't buy any of the lower level snakes. You just want to replace the lowest level snake with new high tier snakes. Yeah, actually at this point in the run, we are sitting pretty well. I think I need to start really pushing to get some higher tier snakes, because we still have a couple of slug snakes and I think maybe even some air snakes. So those are only worth 2 oil. And well, we really need to bump up how much oil we're generating. Something else I noticed looking back on these runs, I need to do more looping. I need to loop them around so it's easier to get all of this oil. I think I leave a ton of oil on the ground just by not being aware of where everything is. And occasionally I accidentally destroy all of the snakes before I can even pick them all up. So this is a really bad habit that I fixed in later runs, but somehow still haven't beat the high score on. Punished and not punished for this mistake here. Yeah, there you go. See, I've left a lot of oil at the top and I just about completely forgot about this. So I need to probably loop them to the top and then loop them back down in like a very slow snake fashion instead of this one big giant loop that I've been doing. So coming really close, and I'm sure we're going to see it a few times where I'm running around the map trying to find the excess loot and just barely seeing it out of range. That's why I do this little quick dash at the end instead of ending it early. And there it is. We've got one more upgrade for our trowel after this, so we're doing really good, and we've got some more snake boots over there. You're going to want to get at least like level 4, there it is, cold water. That's level 2 cold water plus a watering can. So now we're going to be slowing down the snakes that run into our water attack. But this is really good. Keep buying the boots, and the fire rate is also quite nice on the trowel. So these kind of help out a little bit by dealing a little bit of extra damage, but because we have piercing, there's kind of a cap at which you don't need more damage on the trowel, especially once you hit the max level. It kind of turns, oh, there we go. We bought the snake begone. So that is also going to be another slowdown. And this is where I have to debate on whether or not the garden snake is worth it. Now, it's early enough in the run that I think we can get back more value out of this than if we bought like more tiger snakes. But I think we're going to be replacing our slug snakes with some tiger snakes. There we go. Our damage has been greatly increased with this. I believe we get a major fire rate upgrade because we bought a couple of trousers, and we got the upgrade to the trowel. Jeez, that sounds like a tongue twister. But yeah, we need to now finish clearing off our snakes. We want to clear out all of the rats so that way we can replace them with much higher tier snakes. These garden snakes are super great in the value that they give you, and they don't hurt you when they run into you. It's the little clown snake blockade that they put up that can hurt you though. But we're sitting really nice and pretty after getting down just a couple of garden snakes. And at this point, I believe it's day 7 that we have this. So it is really solid for our income, which kind of like snowballs into why this became such a big run for me. Honestly, the watering can is good for slowing down enemies using the cold water, but I think upgrading the snake begone might be slightly better because it has piercing, which is going to affect way more of those earthworms than this, because as the earthworms are attacking you, the watering can doesn't have any piercing. So yeah, I think I end up kind of deciding to always go for snake begone later runs, but this works out pretty good. We're already at 170 oil with 3 days left. We're doing good. There it is, 14 damage plus the biggest trowel. So now I'm just looking for some loot snakes or some 30 oil or more snakes to replace all of them with. You're going to see as I buy these, it's going to be replacing all from the top down, and it won't replace the garden snakes because they are worth more than the loot snake. There we go. This is the good sound. We like this sound. And I believe we might... So there's a tipping point where the loot snake becomes just about as expensive as every other snake at 20 gold. But, I mean, it's there, and so we may as well just buy it. We are unfortunately not fully maxed out on loot snakes, so that's kind of something that could be even more optimized, which is why you'll see people on the leaderboard now with like some 60,000+. I believe the theoretical limit that the dev told me was something around like 60,000. I don't know, it's somewhere around there. I know there's a lot of people faking and submitting false runs, and they've been the dev has been going through clearing that up, so that's actually very nice, being able to actually be in there with real people competing. But yeah, I am very excited and happy to have this run on the leaderboard for the time being. Again, follow me on Twitter if you want to see updates as they happen. Look at this, I'm just accidentally taking out snakes off in the distance because I don't see them and the trowel is just massive. But yeah, make sure to follow me on Twitter, jump in the Discord. We've got lots of content being shown, behind the scenes kind of stuff to kind of keep you up to date. So now we're down to just the loot snakes and the garden snakes. Loot snakes are a little annoying because they have the projectile, so you can't just sit directly on top of them, but we do so much damage and it's all piercing. We're doing really, really well. This is kind of where I think the tipping point is for the trowel, in that it can just take out massive waves if you clump them all together, whereas things like the pitchfork and the watering hose, those you can get percent chance for piercing, but it's kind of difficult to always get the piercing. But this is where the run gets satisfying. I love getting just a massive group of snake oil. Just this is a weird conversation to be talking about, but I love getting that stacked up and hearing all of that popping sound and doing so good. What are we doing? We're going into like day 9, day 8 even, maybe, with 400. Oh my goodness, end of day 8 at nearly 400 snake oil. This is a really good run pace. The only thing that could make this go south is if I cannot ride the earthworms correctly. That is what will absolutely kill the run. So, debating on a couple of upgrades. The more teeth I hold on to, the more points I get. Oh, disregard the background. So this is the point where I think I might not have realized that I could just buy some shadow snakes instead of loot snakes. Because you see, I get really excited about the loot snake, whereas the shadow snake, the exact same price at this point, and giving also about 30 oil. So I didn't need to keep re-rolling like I did. I wasted a whole bunch of points here by doing that. You didn't need to buy nothing but loot snakes. If loot snakes gave just a small amount more oil, yes, that would have been the way to go. But I didn't realize at the time, I guess, that this was the same price as getting something else. But yeah, on the very last day, we're maxed out. Oh, I'm about to die. This is pretty bad. One slip up here. Oh, no, we've already got some loot snakes going down. But yeah, this is a really good point to be at, having maximum loot snakes. And check that out. Check that out up there. We've got 236 coins. That's an extra like 2-3 big earthworms. That is going to greatly help our score out here. And we've got a good bank of snake teeth as well. If you didn't know, snake oil and coins are worth 10 points each, and snake teeth are worth 20 coins each. 20 points each. So if you have a big backlog of snake teeth, you're gonna do really good in your overall score here. Yeah, nothing like cutting through a whole wave of loot snakes like this. It's just so satisfying. I believe I've played this game for like probably days at this point, because there's something really addicting to getting into that high score and just trying to. At one point, I had a high score on all 3 of the leaderboards. I don't think it's reported on this playthrough, but I know it's showing on Twitter for sure. And there we go. We will be maxing out with all of the big worms and just getting the absolute maximum amount of score. And you're going to see this is going to replace a lot of our loot snakes. Again, big misconception here. You don't get an unlimited amount of snakes. You do have a limit of 20 snakes. Look at that. 12 big worms. That is absolutely massive for our score. I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I might be buying like one other item. I think the Snake King, after a long time, might actually come out to be slightly more than the big worms, but maybe it's a good one. I don't know. I haven't done enough runs with just Snake Kings. Maybe do a double buy. I'm really debating on which one I should buy, and it really should be a Snake King. There we go. That's the purchase I needed. Oh, yeah. This is the... Oh, okay. Ooh, please, no. Oh my goodness, there's a whole bunch of projectiles on the map. Oh. This half hour of run could easily have been a quick 0 just by messing up that one instance. I would recommend actually possibly even pausing the game the second it starts so that you can see a path that you're going to take. It is do or die in that very moment. That's why the big worms are worth so much, because if you get caught out by them just once, they're going to encircle you and you're never getting away from it. But we just barely got out of that. And I think we're taking out all of the big worms. So we're just going to clean up, take out the garden snakes, take down the last of the loot snakes. Oh, and all these little rat snakes, they're coming from the Rat King. So they each give, what is it, 3, 4, I think it's only 3 oil. But if you get about like 100 of those, all of a sudden it's worth more than a single big worm snake. We're going to come back in here, clean up all of that nice oil. Yeah, that's right. Oh, so good. So good. But now, oh boy, sitting at 1,800. Oh, nearly 2,000 at this point. If we can clean up those loot snakes and the little Snake King, we're going to be sitting very pretty. And that's how we're going to be maxing out our score. Oh, we're actually getting kind of close to time here. Okay, we're cutting it very close here. Oh, okay. Yeah, that could have been very close. Oh my goodness, there was a good bit of score left on the board there. No way out, but we come out with a massive score, putting us very high up on the leaderboard. I do wish there was a way to quick skip through this, but thanks to editing, boom, big score. I literally just cut out about a minute of counting up to that. 38,000 points. If we played it even just a small amount better, we could have been in the 40,000s. But let's check out that leaderboard and see where we're sitting. Say hello to Past Creature for me. Oh my goodness. What is it? Oh my, wow. I have been at this for hours to say the least. I've done this for days. And I have found out, oh my goodness. Okay. There's still room for improvement here. If we got a little bit luckier, got some better scores, theoretical limit is something like 50,000. And I think we might be able to get there in another run or two. Oh my goodness. Make sure you subscribe and following my Twitter so that way you can actually see when I get these high scores or game-breaking figures. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to see this get knocked off by all of you watching right now. So, well, if you enjoyed that, please get subscribed. Watch the other videos where I also break world records. So I hope to see all of you creatures in the next one. Thank you so much for hanging around until this point. Bye-bye. This one's definitely cheated. This one will be gone shortly. But hey, we're top 10. Like taking this cheat out. We are literally in the top 10. I'd love to give a quick shout out to all the channel members. I'm Afralian, Pasta Luke, Lati9F1, Todd Gyron. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It means everything to me and brings my dream of being a full content creator one step closer. Bye-bye.